The Zone Coverage Podcast Network.
They may be drinkers, Robin, but they're also human beings.
Hell yeah, let's get Stinko.
This is the Giles and the Goalie podcast as part of the Zone Coverage Podcast Network. With your hosts, Giles Farrell and Ben Remington.
Welcome to the Giles and Goalie podcast. I am your host, Giles Farrell, as always joined by Ben Remington.
Hello.
We're back again here in the quarantined studios. Although it's loosening up a little bit, it's a little refreshing if you feel so inclined to go out to your favorite watering hole for some patio seating now, as I took in yesterday. It's a good freeing feeling a little bit, but yeah. What's your week been like?
Oh, just sitting around the house with my infant, avoiding social media like the plague.
Yes, you have been absent on Twitter. I figured it was intentional.
Yeah,
So.
There's just nothing good there right now. It's just a lot of very extreme views by very strange people that I don't want to read.
So we are going to do a jersey draft today. Something a little fun for us to change it up a little bit and to give you the format of the jersey draft. I will yield the floor to Ben.
Yeah, we want to do something fun. I've had this idea for a little while, and it's based on The Athletic actually did something incredibly similar. They drafted just kind of jerseys, I think just kind of based on they didn't have players in mind, but I believe it was Dom Lucian and Sarah Sivian who did it, if I'm not mistaken. And they just went through and drafted the jerseys. And I think actually if you read the article, they did a pretty good job for the most part. There's a few things that I obviously quibbled with, but figured it's something right in the wheelhouse for Giles and I to recreate. And take it kind of a little bit of a step further and attach a player to that jersey and kind of, framing it in the jerseys that we would love to own kind of way, which some of these, as we will know, we do already own, which is nice. We both have fairly extensive collections, but just a little something different, just something fun and, to, kind of pass the time more or less, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what? I guess you'll start it off with what team?
Oh, I was gonna have you start since I kind of made the rules. but the rules essentially we're just drafting one per franchise, and we can kind of split hairs later on that. But one jersey per franchise. You just name kind of the era-ish, the color, the player. And we'll go on down the line until we've drafted 15 rounds each, and then we'll have one poor, sorry franchise with a jersey that we do not want. But, I'll actually throw it to you, Giles. It should be a little bit easier for you since I know you didn't make a list ahead of time. So I thought it'd be easier for you to start. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to float in the breeze here. I guess we can, I don't know, just go down the list alphabetically, I guess, but
no, wait. We're drafting, Giles.
Oh, okay. See, now I think I get it now.
I didn't make that clear leading up to it.
I'm in the weeds.
Okay.
Okay. So with my first pick of the jersey draft, I am going to take I have to go with the obvious here. I'm going to take the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, Paul Kariya, home white jersey.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, and I will keep track of these.
Blatantly obvious.
We'll send out we'll publish a list here. All right, for my first pick, I'm gonna go with the jersey that I actually do own, and that would be the Wayne Gretzky Black Kings jersey.
There you go.
Yeah, and but by the way, for the Mighty Ducks, I would also go with a white jersey for them. I would probably get Solani though. So I mean, especially considering you already have Korea, we could go to parties, find someone to be Steve Rushkin, you know.
Yeah, I do own that jersey, by the way. That should also not be a surprise to anyone.
Right. What would you get for the Kings? Would you get the Gretzky as well?
It seems a pretty obvious between the Kings Gretzky jersey, or you know what, I'd also hear an argument for going back into the 70s and getting one of the Forum blue and gold jerseys. I actually probably would go with the gold Dion jersey if I went that route.
Right. Cool. You're up for round 2.
Now, do we have to pick one from each team?
Well, between the two of us, we'll have picked each team. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you did the Kings.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am going to go with my next pick. I'm going to take the Edmonton Oilers Gretzky blue road uniform from the 80s. Seems like a pretty jersey to have in the closet, and that's something I do covet. And as we did learn a few episodes ago with our friend Dave Schwartz, the Edmonton Oilers had to have the jersey company, whoever was behind it, they had to move it from the bottom right of the jersey to the bottom left because Gretzky tucked his jersey in on the right side.
Right. Yeah, funny enough, for the Oilers, there's a lot of Gretzky on my list, as I'm sure there's a lot of Gretzky on your list because it's Gretzky. But for the Oilers, for whatever reason, it's just a weird product of me being a goaltender child of the 90s. The one that I had was Cujo. For some reason, he didn't spend a lot of time with the Oilers, but when I first started following hockey, he was with the Oilers. And so that's kind of how I think of him first, even though he obviously spent a lot more time with, the Leafs or even the Wings or obviously the Blues. But, so I would have gone with Cujo for the Oilers for myself personally.
Okay.
All right, for my next pick, I'm going to take a jersey that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm going to go with the Dominik Hasek black jersey from the Sabres. Again, another jersey that I do own, but very, very 90s, and not saying it was the most classic design, but again, just being a goaltender child of the late 90s, Hasek was and is kind of the god that I pray to. So huge fan of this jersey, and when I started collecting jerseys, it was something that I absolutely had to have. So I do have this one in my collection. So I'm a big fan.
There you go. That's good. If I had to pick the Buffalo Sabres, I'd probably roll with a Hasek jersey from the same era as well. Actually, probably the same one because I really like that setup until they weirdly switched. But I will hear an argument just to kind of be contrarian. I would consider getting a Jack Eichel road uniform right now. I think those are very well done. So I'd hear one for that because I'm not overly familiar with the history of the Sabres before that Hasek era. So,
well, they all look the same. It was the classic. They were more of a royal blue back then, but royal blue and yellow design.
Right.
So those, Hasek wore that too for a couple years, but it just didn't quite have the same pizzazz,
Yeah. Okay, so with my next pick, I am going to go with another jersey that I really, really covet, but I have never had the opportunity to put into my personal collection. And as it's been seen in movies such as Happy Gilmore, but it would be the Boston Bruins. I'd actually probably roll with the home white jersey from the 80s with Ray Bork.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I really wanted to do it right, I'd get two. I'd get a Ray Bork 7 and a 77 just so I can take off the 7 and hand it to Phil Esposito.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those two. I would probably, I mean, yeah, black or white is really tough for the Bruins. I think they're both really good. It's a really good mirror image on those. But I'm with you. I would definitely go for the Bork jersey. Just such an iconic player, you know. It's really hard to go wrong with Ray Bork. All right, upward and onward here. My next jersey that I'm going to go for, probably going to make you a little upset, but I'm going to go with the Rangers, and I'm going to go with the Liberty jersey. And I'm probably also going to put Wayne Gretzky on that one as well. Although great arguments can be made for me personally for Mike Richter. So, but I'm going to go with the Rangers. I'm going to go with the Liberty and Wayne Gretzky because that's just such a tremendous jersey. Just I know we're both big fans of it, and so I had to steal it from you.
Yeah, that if I'm picking a Rangers jersey. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with the same one you did, the Gretzky Liberty. Although I would, out of my affection for their goaltender, I would get a Liberty jersey just with Lundqvist on it. He did wear that. I think it was rookie season.
Yeah, his rookie season he did wear it.
Yeah,
that's when they had the white ones too.
A white Lundqvist jersey, which I think is one of the best in the league. So,
yeah, they had the white Liberty jerseys back then too.
Yes.
I believe that's what Lundqvist wore. So,
yep.
All right, on to round 4. What do you got?
Ooh, where do I go next? Let's see here. I'm gonna go with my next pick. I'm gonna go north of the border.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go with a jersey again that I don't own, but I really highly covet to have in my stash someday. I'm going to go with a Paddlebury 94 Canucks jersey. And I'm going to go with the black one with the flying skate.
Yes, that is a jersey I do own. And yeah, it is tremendous. That would have been my pick as well, and I already own it, luckily for me. So. It's not in great shape, unfortunately. I got it for a deal that was too good to be true on the eBay, and so the crest on the chest is a little bit tore up, but it's still a great jersey, and I do enjoy it. So that's a solid pick right there.
Yes.
My next one, I'm gonna go with. Maybe a little bit off the radar, just a touch, but I'm going to go with a jersey of mine that I really enjoy, and that's my Montreal Canadiens jersey, and that features Patrick Waugh. So the red jersey from Waugh's time there in the 80s and early 90s. We're both big fans of the Canadiens jersey and that classic look. It's kind of a fun jersey to have, and then. For me, you know, Waugh was such an idol for me as a goalie growing up, and even though obviously his time there ended very unceremoniously, he still was a great Canadian for a long time. So that's the jersey that I'm going to go with next, Canadiens.
That's good. I mean, you've got very little to pick from in the Montreal Canadiens history. Yeah, it's you can literally go off a list of Hall of Famers. I know. I'll just go with the one that I have in my stash, and it's a Carey Price.
Okay.
Red uniform. So
yeah, solid. All right, you're up.
All right. Well, I think there's one team that we probably should get to, and that's
No.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because they have such a mixed bag of wonderful jerseys.
Yes.
However, I am going to roll with. I might get yelled at for this, but they have two marquee players and very many jerseys that I could roll with. But I have to put a Yager jersey in the stash. So I'm going to go with a Yager 95 or whatever, like basically their late 90s white jersey.
The diagonal script, yeah. Oh, the white jersey.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I didn't go with a diagonal script. I don't know why. I just always had an affinity for those Yager white jerseys with the Robo Penguin.
Yeah, the Robo Penguin. I had to say, or I had Yager as well from that era, but I went with the black script. I actually already own two Penguins jerseys. I have a Marc-Andre Fleury rookie jersey and a Mario Lemieux early 90s era with the skating penguin, the classic skating penguin. But I would love to grab a Yager. Same as you. It's really kind of a damn shame I don't have one already.
It comes down, for some of these for me, it comes down to like an association. Like I associate the Pittsburgh script on the black jersey. I associate that more with Lemieux. And that's why I associate like the white Robo Penguin jersey with Yager, because that was kind of the time when Lemieux retired, and he was kind of the NHL's like big villain at that time. Everyone hated him because he was so damn good. And so I've just always assorted that and the black with gray stripes Robo Penguin jersey with Yager. So that's why I rolled with that one.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. I can't say that I blame you for that. All right, so I'm up. I'm going to go with another one that's a little bit off the map. I'm going to go with the Avalanche franchise, but since we are sticking with franchise, and I already do own a jersey that I'm going to go with the Knicks jersey. I really would love to, and they're obviously not widely available at all, but I would love to grab a blue Peter Forsberg Nordiques jersey, or even Joe Sakic. I think I could probably go either way, but I'll go with Forsberg for the purpose of this. Those are just such great classic jerseys, and it's really a nice look. I think it would be something that would be really cool to have in my collection.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the defunct teams that I need to start getting on is the Nordiques.
Right.
Obviously, their last iteration, the 91 to 95 jerseys, were just perfection. Just plain, simple, and having the fleur-de-lis on the bottom. It just chef's kiss for those, and that's not bad, because since they went from being the Nordiques to the Avalanche, they've really not had a good run of jerseys.
Yeah.
And given my general, disdain for this particular franchise, if I had to pick, I would have just picked the one that I had in my closet, which was the mid 2000s alternate with the Colorado running diagonally down the front with Paul Kariya.
Yeah. I have a white home, the late 90s WA jersey that I really do enjoy, because that was the time where I was watching a whole lot of hockey. So I do cherish that one. But the Nordiques, like you said, just such a great design, such a beautiful jersey.
Yeah.
So on to round 6.
Ooh, where do we go from here? Let's see. Brain trying to process. All right, here we go. I'm gonna dip into I'm gonna steal a Gretzky out of your stash. I'm gonna go with the St. Louis Blues 96. They were road uniforms at that time. The blue with red at the bottom. And I will get a Gretzky. Honorable mention to Brett Hull.
Yeah, I tussled with that one as well, because Hull was such an iconic player for them during that time. But Gretzky, maybe it's just the way that the name and number fills up the jersey so beautifully. on the back, even with the slanted, the numbers kind of angled at the bottom. I think that kind of is kind of cool in a way. Like it's obviously a whole lot of nostalgia for both of us, but just I really dig those jerseys. Objectively, maybe they're not great. There's a lot going on there, but it's just such a just overdosing on member berries for me. So
Yes, we're not meant to be rational here.
No. I mean, yeah, we're not unbiased judges. We're like the Russian judge at the Olympics. We're just wheeling and dealing here. All right. So my next pick here, I go with a jersey that I've been chasing for a little while now. I'm going to go with the Detroit Red Wings red jersey, and I'm going to put Sergei Fedorov on it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's a jersey that I've really tried to find, and there's some out there, but obviously they're not cheap at this point. But I'm not a huge Red Wings guy, but man, how do you not like Fedorov? I mean, that guy was he was so good, so exciting to watch, so much fun. He really kind of got on a team literally loaded with Hall of Famers. He was the coolest of them all. So that says something.
Yeah, no, that's honestly probably what I would have gone with. Although I will give an honorable mention to Steve Yzerman.
Oh God, yeah.
That would have been my backup, but that same jersey.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
What round are we on? 7?
7.
All right, 7. All right, so I'm surprised it actually went this long, and it's probably shame on us for having an affinity for their jerseys before they moved away. I'm gonna dip into the Minnesota North Stars bag, and I'm gonna go with the jersey that sits in my closet. I'm gonna go with a 90 or the white North Stars jersey from the 80s into the 91 season.
91, yep.
And I'm going to go with a Kurt Giles number 2 jersey because I don't get the opportunity to have the name Giles on the back of a jersey and have it actually be of a player that it was on that team. So I am glad to draft and retain that into my collection here in the draft.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I have a North Stars jersey of that era as well. It is a green one, but sadly it is blank. So at some point I would really love to get John Casey put on the back of it. Not just because he was a goalie and he was the goalie for that Stanley Cup run, but fun little story I shared way back in the day on Wild Extra that I don't know if you've even heard, but John Casey being from the Iron Range, a couple years older than my dad, but my family my dad has a lot of cousins up there. My dad actually was playing boot hockey or maybe just pickup hockey on the rink with John Casey, and John Casey struck my dad directly in the family jewels with a frozen tennis ball. So John Casey nearly ended my existence back sometime in the mid-'70s, I believe. On a frozen pond and/or rink in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. And
I'm not surprised that Jim survived.
Yeah, no, he was a little bit younger than Casey, so I think John Casey really felt bad. But I'll have to get a more descriptive version of that story from my dad at some point. But I remember, obviously, very vividly remember him telling me that story a long time ago because our up north relatives are kind of the thing of legend, and that's just one of the many. So,
if anyone had the jewels to come out of that better than ever, it's
maybe there's something to that. Maybe it worked in like a weird Rookie of the Year or Spider-Man freak accident kind of way. What explains how my dad had so many kids. Anyway. So I'm going to go with one that's probably going to make you fairly upset, but that's okay because you've had plenty of time to draft it. I'm going to take the Capitals.
Yeah.
And this is also a jersey that I've been chasing. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the version that you have, the throwback red jersey that they've been wearing lately. Or not lately, but they wore for a couple of years that were absolutely beautiful, and they should make them their full-time jerseys. But again, dipping back into the irrational nostalgia, the jersey that I've been chasing is Alexander Ovechkin's rookie year, when they still had the flying eagle on the jersey, and it's not red, white, and blue for the Capitals. I realize that it was very 90s, but again, I don't care. I just want that jersey. And so I will try to find it still. I did find one a little while ago, but it went a little bit out of my price range. So we'll see what I can do in the future. But that's definitely the jersey of the Capitals that I would like.
I think I only have an affection for that because it's Ovechkin. Otherwise, I wouldn't really overly care for it.
I'm kind of the same. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't mind having a Kolzig of that either, because I really liked Olaf Kolzig back then, and he was really cool. Again, it's nostalgia. I fully recognize that as a jersey that probably should not have happened. Let's be honest. But it was the 90s, so what do you do?
Right. All right. And you stepped right in front of me. You were gonna make it so fitting for me to take that in round 8.
You had plenty of time.
I know. There's just been weird jerseys sliding across the board. Just to follow up, I will, if I was picking Washington, I would go with the one that does sit in my collection. That is the current alternate throwback that they wear at home. And I also actually shout out to my old roommate Dan. He did get Jamie the matching white alternate Ovechkin jersey. He found it thrifting. Somebody gave that away. Willie.
What?
Yeah.
Unreal. That's ridiculous.
So, he always comes up with the best finds for me from thrifting. But yeah, that's what I would have went with. Okay. Let's see. What teams do I have left on the board? Oh. So I think we agreed upon, like, we just looped in the old Jets and the new Jets as one, since the Coyotes are okay. I'm gonna go with Winnipeg, and I'm gonna go with the Solani white jersey from when he just torched the league for
72
77 goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. That was on my list as well.
I've always been really fond of that logo. I don't know, maybe it hasn't aged well, but that's one I do actually want to put in my collection. I am kind of hitting myself that I didn't hit that sooner, but it's hard to argue against the ones that I've taken already.
Yeah. This is the one caveat that I made ahead of time. The Jets, I lumped together the old Jets and the new Jets because they're the Jets. And let's be honest, the new Jets and / the Thrashers haven't really had a storied jersey history, so it just kind of made things easy. That, and we do enjoy the Coyotes jersey. So, hell, for posterity's sake here, I'm going to select the Coyotes with my next pick here. I'm going to take the Coyotes, and obviously we both professed our love many, many times for the Kachina jersey. So I'm going to take the Coyotes Kachina jersey, and I'm going to throw Nikolai Habibulin on it. I really, obviously, I'm a goalie guy, so that's the direction I'm going to go with that.
All right. I mean, yeah, that was probably going to be the next one on my list, since I went with the what are the old Jets now and the Coyotes.
Right.
But yeah, the Kachina jerseys always have an affinity for me, and I don't know why. I always associate that one with Keith Tkachuk. So
easy to do. He was kind of the face of that franchise.
Yeah.
Certainly not going to get a Roenick, so,
No. Thanks. Also, I want to point out that with my 8th pick, I did take a number 8 Solani, even though he didn't wear it with.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Let's see what's left on my list. Oh, how have we let this one slide way down the list? With my next pick, I am going to go dip into the Calgary Flames bag. I'm going to go with a red Lanny McDonald jersey from the 80s.
Nice. Yeah, I thought about the same jersey, kind of. They wore them as retro jerseys a couple years back when Jerome Iginla was still with the team. So I would probably veer towards the Iginla throwback style of that particular jersey. But yeah, those red jerseys are just great. I mean, why they went away from those. I mean, obviously a lot of weird stuff happened in the 90s, I guess, but why they don't go back to those is probably more confusing than anything.
And I will, I'll give a shout to the Red Flames jerseys that are considered their home ones now. But when they first came out in their cup run of 03-04, that was a good look before Reebok touched it. And I would,
agreed.
If I were going to get an Iginla jersey from the Flames, I would have went with that red, black jersey.
Sure.
That they wore as their home uniforms in that playoff run. I actually, funny story, I wanted to get one of those, and I went around the Metro trying to find one. The best I could find was a white Flames jersey, no name on it. So that does sit in my closet.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. All right. Onward and upward here. My 9th pick, I am going to take I'm going to go with a franchise we're not super fond of, but we do love the jersey, and that is the Chicago Blackhawks. Big fan of their red jerseys, and I'm going to, in typical me fashion, I'm going to get one with Ed Belfour on it, just because that, again, the goalies of the 90s always kind of always have a soft spot in my heart, and that's just about half my list, it seems like. But yeah, Ed Belfour, just a tremendous goalie. And that Blackhawks red jersey is just one of the best in the league. So I'm good with that. Yeah,
no, absolutely. All right. So kicking off round 10, I'm going to go with the Carolina Hurricanes franchise.
Yeah.
However, I'm not going to go with a Carolina Hurricanes jersey.
Right.
I am going to actually go with a Gordie Howe Whalers jersey.
Nice.
Green, by the way. Going with the green. Yeah, you don't get many, unless you get one in Detroit. This is like perfect, like old school nostalgia for me. Going with one of the better jerseys that are now defunct, the Hartford Whalers, and their classic logo, matching it up with one of the best players that ever played. So I'm taking that.
Yeah, tremendous. The one knock I do have on it, and the only reason he was there is because he got to play with both of his sons. So they put his full name on the back of the jersey, which it looks weird to me. Like Gordie Howe is always, like, especially in the Red Wings, obviously it's short and sweet. It's Howe and then number 9, and it all kind of lines up nicely. When they put his full name on the back of the jersey, I don't know, it just kind of was weird. So either you'd get it without his full name, which would be historically inaccurate, which would also bother me. So it's kind of a lose-lose there. But yeah, to your point, Whalers jersey, I mean, that's always a win. That's such a great design when they came over from the WHA and were essentially forced to change their name by the Bruins. They really turned a negative into a positive with that logo. I mean, my God.
Right.
Solid. So, all right. Moving on here. I'm going to go with another jersey I've chased a little bit off and on, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's a jersey that I would like to add to my collection. Another classic design. I'd like to grab a blue one of Felix Potvin in some time in my lifetime, because I was a big fan of Potvin, along with obviously every other goalie in the 90s, it seems. And yeah, I mean, he just was a great goalie for Toronto for a long time, and became very iconic with his mask. And the Leafs jerseys almost through all time have looked pretty good, and those ones were definitely no exception.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If I had to pick one from the Maple Leafs, I would actually probably go with a Matt Sundin white from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It had more of that classic Leaf logo on it.
Yep.
That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Matt Sundin. That guy was definitely an icon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Whew, we're getting down there. We're getting into the nitty gritties.
A little bit.
Yeah, I am. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I want to take next because selection is of utmost importance at this juncture.
Right.
Got to make sure you have a good end of the list to balance out the stuff at the top. So, all right. I'm going to go with the San Jose Sharks.
Ooh.
I am going to roll with. You got to go with as much as I love their black jerseys that they had in the 2010 era. I got to go with the original teal jersey.
Sure.
Which I think Joe Thornton played for them when they had that, so I'm just going to put Joe Thornton on it.
I think so. They might have changed. They had an alternate teal that they went to as a primary, I think, right around the time where he arrived. I'm not 100% sure on the timeline of that, to be honest.
No, he didn't. He didn't play there in time for that. Let me try to think of older Sharks that played that would fit my criteria.
Let's see who was there back then. Creesh, they were not really star-studded.
No, they weren't.
Was Sandis Ozolinsh there for him during that time? Pat Falloon.
I'll get Igor Larionov. That fits.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I me being me, I probably would have gone with Arthur's Urbe, just because I think that'd be kind of a fun jersey to have. Very random name, but kind of fun. So.
Yeah.
And that actually, I think, I had this jersey and I cannot find it anywhere for the life of me. It irritates me because it's an adult size. I had an original white Sharks jersey that I picked up on a clearance rack at the old Strauss Skate and Bike there in Maplewood back in my youth. I think I got it for like freaking $20 or $30 or something like that. It was blank, but it was their original jersey, and this is a solid jersey. I really like those original ones.
Nice.
I wish I could find it, and maybe it's floating on my mom's house somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Round 11 for me. I'm going to take a jersey that I don't know if we've both been avoiding or we've both been saving, but I'm going to take the Islanders. And for the sake of chaos and for the sake of the 90s and for the sake of our friend Taylor Calais, I'm taking the Gortman's Fisherman jersey. And I'm probably going to go with Ziggy Palffy on the back because he's kind of the guy for that jersey. Just a wild exercise in 90s jerseys. But it's one of those things. It's kind of like, the so ugly you enjoy it kind of thing. I'm going to go with that with Ziggy Palffy.
Yeah, it's hard to go against that. But I guess to be serious, obviously you got to go with the. Actually, I'm going to go with just a little bit of chaos, but rationally, I'm going to go with the one that I have in my closet, and that is the New York Islanders. Obviously, when they did their like throwback to their, their 80s jerseys in like the 2008, 2010.
Okay.
I got the blue Rick DiPietro.
Oh wow!
So I'm just gonna roll.
I don't think I've ever seen that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got it, and it's like super large, so it just.
Oh, okay.
It's it's like a tarp when I put it on, but it's,
okay. Yeah, that's so cool because they went navy blue for a while there, and then I think they switched back to the royal blue.
Yeah.
At some point, again, which was the right move, obviously. I mean, Gordon's Fisherman jokes aside, the Islanders do have a great jersey history for the most part. And the Fisherman one was kind of the sore thumb, but that's why we like it. So, but not to take away from their regular jerseys that they've historically worn, because those are a good look. That blue and orange just kind of works for them. So
Their history's good until they started to get into alternates, and honestly, they've never had a good alternate jersey.
No, I mean, God, that black jersey. What were they thinking? I mean, I get it. They moved to Brooklyn, but we all know how that turned out. And making a jersey to commemorate that, not a great idea.
Right. All right. So now we're on what, round 12?
12. Yep.
Cool. All right. I think I'm going to steal this one away from you. We don't generally think that highly of them, but they've just been, playing forever. So I'm going to take a red New Jersey Devils Martin Brodeur jersey.
Yeah, that was definitely the guy I had on my list. Admittedly, I wasn't a huge Brodeur guy, but if you're going to get a Devils jersey, I think that's definitely the direction that I would go, and I think most people would go. I mean, he was there for what it felt like 40 years.
Right.
So yeah, that's a great jersey, and yeah, you're right. I mean, they're a little plain, but not necessarily a bad thing. It's definitely a classic.
Right.
All right, I'm going to go with another jersey in my collection here. Just keeping with that 90s goalies theme, I'm going to take the Florida Panthers inaugural red jersey with my guy John Van Beesbroek on the back. Obviously, not a name that's spoken of kindly these days, but back then he was definitely one of my idols. Him and Patrick Roy were kind of, and Dominic Hasek were kind of the three-headed monster for me. So I do own this jersey. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, that's can't argue with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we're into round 13.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go into the Ottawa Senators collection.
Wow.
And I am going to take a two from their cup run, their 2007 home red uniform. I'm going to get the All-Star, Danny Heatley. This isn't, I will give the caveat, this isn't a great collection to go with, but
no,
I got to make my run at the All-Star.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I had the same exact jersey on my list just because, having a Heater jersey, and maybe that's where the Atlanta Thrashers come in, I don't know, but having a Heater jersey would be a lot of fun just because it's just so good for laughs,
Yep.
I think even without the famous parody account, I think having a Heatley jersey is just so good for laughs because he's just such one of those weird characters in hockey that only comes along every so often. I mean, he was kind of like Phil Kessel before Phil Kessel,
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, interesting. All right, kind of looking at the list here. I'm going to go with a jersey that I actually just got that I bought for my birthday. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Flyers, and they came out with an alternate in the 90s that was black, and which a lot of teams did. It was the 90s after all. But I think with the Flyers, it worked. Obviously, they had been black and orange for a long time, or orange and black, and so a black jersey really kind of worked for them. And I thought it was a good look. Obviously, Eric Lindros, John LeClair, those were kind of the guys, and I definitely would be happy with having one of those. But I bought a John Van Beesbroek jersey of that. He joined them in the very late 90s after his time with Florida. And so that was the jersey that I just purchased about 3 weeks ago. And big fan of it. I think that was an underrated jersey as far as making black a thing in the 90s.
Yeah, no, I would agree that the Lindros black jersey would have probably been the one I rolled with.
Sure.
Because I have not been overly enamored with the Flyers history, but
right.
Yeah, next round I'm gonna go with the home team here.
I was wondering when we were gonna
the Minnesota Wild
draft one of them.
they slide in here into round whatever this is 14.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I am going to go with their jersey that I have a few iterations of in my closet. They're green alternate jerseys from the 2010 to 2017 season.
Yeah.
God, what player would I get? That's hard. Screw it. Get Heatley.
That's actually a really good idea. And the one that I had for the Wild, funny enough, and I find it hilarious that it took us this long to get to this. Not a Wild jersey, actually, but I kind of lumped it in the category of Wild jerseys because when they hosted the All-Star game here, for the only time that it's virtually ever happened in All-Star game history, they designed jerseys that were kind of centric to the home team, which I thought was really cool. We see that with the batting practice jerseys for baseball, and sometimes with the jerseys for the NBA, but that's about it. Otherwise, they're all kind of usually very sterile, and now with the whole 14 thing, they use the colors from that home team, but that's about it. Otherwise, or they did up until the last 2 years, which were terrible. But that's about it. And so I really enjoy when they had the All-Star game here, the jerseys kind of look like Wild jerseys. So I would really like to get a Dwayne Rollison All-Star game jersey from that year because I think they did such a good job with that. And I was a big Rolly fan when he was here. So that would be my Wild jersey, even though it's technically not a Wild jersey.
Yeah. No, that's
yeah. So anyway, round 14 for me, a jersey that's kind of funny. So the Lightning have great jerseys now, but I think if I were to get one of theirs, it doesn't really jump out to me right now. I mean, the Stamkos would be cool. The couple of players they have would be cool, but a jersey that I think would be kind of cool to have is their inaugural jerseys, their black jerseys, which were kind of, they were kitschy a little bit, but they kind of worked even with that goofy font. And I think I would probably grab a Dino Ciccarelli jersey. He spent a few seasons with them with that original jersey. And it's just kind of one of those things where it's kind of a weird footnote in history, but I think I would go with that just kind of for the nostalgia factor.
all right.
It's getting deep in the draft here, Giles. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I would have personally probably just gone with the current home Stamkos jersey.
Yeah, I have no issues with that. That's a great jersey. An alternate pick would have been the 2004 home jersey for Marty St. Louis. But yeah, it's a good one too.
Yep. So all right, well, we're into round 15. We're getting how many out of the besides the one I'm about to pick. We have two franchises left, and I'm not sure which ones we have left. But I'm going to steal the Vegas Golden Knights home jersey. Because we're just so fond of them, and I figured it was going to be a fight to get this. But I will go with the home Vegas Knights. It's really hard because I love Mark Stone, but I think if you're identifying a player with the Golden Knights, it's probably Marc-Andre Fleury. So I feel like I have to go with him.
I had Fleury too. I gave Alex Tuck some thought. I wish that he maybe was just a little bit better because it's kind of a fun story how he came from the Wild and we have that connection to him here. But I'd probably go with Fleury as well.
Yeah, I figured that would steam you a little bit that I took Fleury.
Yeah, I'm a Fleury guy. I already have a Fleury jersey, so I'm not opposed to having two, but that's kind of why I waited on that one a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so for the final pick, I'm going to take the Nashville Predators, and I'm going to go with a jersey from Pekka Rinne's rookie season, back when they still wore their original blue jerseys. Because I've made it very clear I am not a fan of their yellow and all of their yellow and the yellow on top of yellow and then some more yellow. So I'm going to go with their blue jerseys with the silver shoulders. I think that was kind of a, again, it was the 90s, but it was a decent look, I thought. It was a unique look, And I'm not really exactly sure why they went away from it. But Pekka Rinne did wear that for his first, I believe, season or maybe even 2. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
And the lone franchise left out is predictably the Columbus Blue Jackets. They just don't really have a whole lot. Just don't really have a whole lot going on. So I had Rick Nash blue jersey.
Yeah,
for them.
that's exactly what I would have done as well.
Yep, and so it just
The alternate blue jersey.
Yeah, well, I kind of like the originals a little bit with the C, the kind of the stars in this. I don't really like their current one where it's like the Ohio flag mutilated into a C.
Oh, right.
You're talking about the one with the cannon on it, the wild ripoff jersey. Yeah. Those were pretty good too. I again, to this day, I don't understand why the cannon doesn't have more of a prominent feature in their jerseys. Like, their jerseys are so effing bland right now.
You know, this is an idea. We should get somebody from Columbus on the line, and we can because, I would go with the Rick Nash alternate cannon jersey.
Yeah, I would go with that or their original blue jerseys. Either way is fine for me, but I think probably fitting and deserving that they were the lone team not drafted in this. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's all we got. I'm gonna make a nice little sheet of this draft, and I'm actually gonna give a little jersey example off to the side of each of our picks to really provide a nice little visual for us here. I should be able to throw that together and throw it online. So.
Okay. Yeah, and then we'll let we'll put the results out like a day after we post the podcast, so we don't totally spoil it, and then we can let our listeners vote and see who had a better list.
Sure. Yeah, I'm down.
It's kind of like the Zone Coverage Machine food draft.
Except we didn't have Tom here to
actually
purposely
did good
pick
here.
bad
Yeah,
things.
Tom's not in here to wreck it, and you know what? I'm pretty disappointed with Arif the last few drafts I've seen from him. He's really on it, but not the last few they've had. Shame
really?
on.
Yeah. Let's. Dynasties can't last forever.
Well, that's a fun little note we can end the show on. So, thank you everyone who listened through with us today. Hopefully, we can come back with a guest a little later in the week. If not, we'll be back next week. Hopefully, with some news or something to talk about.
Right.
More current NHL related, but we figured to do a little some fun today, at least for us. So we just did this jersey draft. If I have to say, I have the best collection myself, but we'll let you decide. So follow Ben and I on Twitter at Ben Remington, at Giles Farrell, podcast Twitter at GATG Wild Podcast. If you do listen to this show, please subscribe. If you listen via iTunes, please leave us a rating. You can find us pretty much anywhere. And, of course, zonecoverage.com is where all the podcasts are at, as well as written content. And, yeah, that will do it for us this week, and we will chat at you again hopefully soon.
Later.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Gill and the Goaltender podcast.
It's not resiliency. You're making it sound like we're good. That's all. I'm done.